You've probably seen it on a wine list, right? Grenache, or maybe Garnacha, and you kind of nod, but you're not totally sure what you're getting. Well, you're definitely not alone. It's one of the world's most popular grapes, but somehow it still feels like a bit of a mystery. So today, we are pulling back the curtain on this Mediterranean superstar.
Okay, let's just start with a wild idea. What if I told you that one single grape could make a crisp, dry rosé, a light and juicy young red, a super powerful, complex red, and a sweet dessert wine? I know, it sounds kind of impossible, but that right there is the incredible magic of Grenache.
So, where on earth did this amazing grape come from? Well, its story starts with a bit of a friendly argument, a little mystery that takes us to the heart of the Mediterranean.
For a long time, there was this big debate. Both Spain and France wanted to claim Grenache as their own. But, the evidence we have now really points to Spain, specifically the Aragon region, as the true birthplace of what they call Garnacha. From there, it basically hopped over the Pyrenees Mountains, found a new home in France, and got its famous French name, Grenache.
Now, you gotta understand, this grape is a total sun worshiper. It absolutely loves hot, dry weather. And here's the crazy part. It doesn't want nice, rich soil. No, it prefers to struggle in poor, rocky ground. Why? Because when the vine has to work that hard, digging its roots deep for water, all that effort super concentrates the flavors in the grapes. It's what makes them so intense and delicious.
All right, this brings us to the really cool part. How can this one grape be such a chameleon? How can it wear so many different hats in the world of wine? Let's take a look at its incredible range.
And here they are, the 4 faces of Grenache. It's just amazing. So first up, it can be this gorgeous, crisp rosé full of strawberry and cherry flavors. If you ever see a bottle from Tavel in France, grab it. Then, it can be a simple, juicy, easy-drinking red, like a lot of classic Côtes du Rhône wines. But wait, it can also become this deep, powerful, full-bodied red with flavors of plum, spice, and even leather. That's the style that makes places like Châteauneuf-du-Pape so legendary. And if that wasn't enough, it can even be made into a rich, sweet dessert wine. Seriously, 4 completely different wines from just one grape. Okay, so let's go on a little tour of its 2 most famous kingdoms, Spain and France. This is really where Grenache, or Garnacha, becomes a legend.
Back in its Spanish homeland, Garnacha is an absolute star. In a rugged little region called Priorat, it grows on these crazy unique slate soils they call licorella. It produces these incredibly intense mineral-packed red wines. But then you go over to Rioja, and it's more of a team player, blended with Tempranillo to add some oomph and juicy fruit. And let's not forget Navarra, which is famous for its bright, fresh rosado wines. That's what they call rosé in Spain.
Now let's hop across the border to France, where Grenache is the undisputed king of the southern Rhône. It's the absolute backbone of the world-famous Châteauneuf-du-Pape. You've heard of a GSM blend? Well, Grenache is the G. It brings all that warm, generous red fruit. It also stars in powerful reds from nearby places like Gigondas and Vaqueiras. And get this, in the region of Tavel, they are so dedicated to Grenache rosé that it's literally the only type of wine they're allowed to make. How cool is that?
Okay, so you've got your bottle of Grenache. Now, what in the world do you eat with it? Well, this is where it gets even better, because its versatility makes it one of the most food-friendly wines you can find.
It's actually pretty simple. Just remember these 3 things. First, Grenache is the ultimate barbecue companion. All those red fruit and spice notes are just perfect with grilled meats. Second, it's an absolute champion with a cheese board, especially those hard-aged cheeses like a sharp cheddar or Gruyere. And third, and this is a big one, don't be afraid to pair it with spicy food. Because Grenache has its own spicy character, it can totally stand up to flavorful dishes like a Moroccan tagine, a paella, or even a medium spice curry.
So, where does this ancient grape go from here? Its story is far from over. In fact, you could argue it's more important right now than it's ever been.
Think about it. In a world that's getting warmer, a grape that absolutely loves the heat is a pretty big deal. Its superpower is its resilience. It can handle drought and high temperatures better than many other famous grapes. This means we're probably going to be seeing a lot more Grenache in the future as winemakers look for grapes that can thrive in these changing conditions.
And the style is changing too. For a while, it was all about making big, powerful, high-alcohol Grenache. But now, winemakers are shifting towards elegance and freshness. They're farming organically, planting vineyards at higher altitudes where it's a bit cooler, all to capture more bright cherry flavors and floral notes. The goal now is to prove that Grenache isn't just a blockbuster. It can be incredibly graceful too.
There's a Portuguese phrase from one of the sources for this explainer that just sums it all up perfectly.
Un tesoro enologico a ser descoberto.
It means an oenological treasure to be discovered. And that's exactly what Grenache is. It's this incredible treasure that's been hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to really discover all its different sides.
So I guess the only question left is, which of its many faces are you going to discover first? Will it be the crisp rosé, the juicy red, or the powerful icon? The adventure is all yours.